All right, so what I'm gonna be doing first, guys, is I wanna check your thermostat. I wanna set it down to 65 degrees. It looks like your thermostat over here, it looks like you guys have an old dial thermostat, all right? Or even one of those digital ones that you just press up and down. It's not programmable. Do you guys know what I mean by programmable thermostat? Have you ever seen them, heard of them?
I've heard of
what
them.
It does, so the power company is gonna recommend that you set your AC at set your AC 6 degrees higher when you leave the house than when you are in the house. For every degree, remember, above or below 78, it'll save you about $6 a month per degree. So they recommend 6 degrees from where you like it at when you're in the house. Now, what happens to us is when we go to set that AC up, we forget, all right? Next thing you know, you go to work, now there's 8 hours out of the day that your AC's setting at 72, 74, wherever you like it at, and it should be at 79, 80, right? Saving you guys money. So what they make is these programmable thermostats. You can set them on a run schedule, you can hook them up to your phone, and you can just leave the house and it shuts your AC off automatically or sets your AC up. And then when you're coming back home, you can just press a button on your phone and it's gonna set the AC down so you don't have to deal with it being hot when you get home and stuff like that. They're really, really good. Generally, I mean, you could save anywhere from like 7 to 10%. And they'll put like a humidistat on it so you can test the humidity in your house and things like that. But it's a really good idea to get one of those. It saves your AC, the life of your AC. If you set your AC up 6 degrees, it'll go 2, 3, 4 more years longer. So it is a good idea to do that. I'm gonna give you guys a fail on that one. All right, now I'm gonna set it down to 65 degrees. Let's let it run while I'm checking all the other things. Now, outlet covers. Now, you didn't have those. I'm gonna give you guys a fail on that, but you did have those light bulbs. So it's really good. Any ones that you don't have, just make sure that you're getting them done there. The weather stripping on the front door, I gotta give you a fail on that one. All right, and I know you guys are gonna get that copper stuff. And then your refrigerator. I'm gonna go up to the refrigerator, I'm gonna open it up, I'm gonna test the back. 40, you're good, Bob, Mary. Change it if you need to, if it's way off. Mine was negative 11 the first time that I tested it, that's the truth. My fridge was actually 33 degrees. So it's a good idea, just Bob, Mary, I'm gonna set it, all right? Just make sure that you remind me to test the temperature before I get back. And there's little thermostats you can get right at Walmart, okay, that are $1 a piece. And you just stick it in your freezer and stick one into your fridge. And then you always know, you can just take a look at it whenever you feel like it, all right? Once a month or something like that, just to make sure your temperature's there. So it's a good idea to get one of those, but I'm gonna give you guys a pass on that one because we fixed that. You're right at 40 and right at 5. Perfect. Now, let's, looks like you got 3 fails and you got 2 passes, but you get those 3 fails, all right? So you're doing all right. Let's check up in the attic. Usually it's out in the garage. If it's in the house, okay, what I'm gonna do, at all costs, I don't wanna get a ladder. That's just because I'm lazy, all right? But I have to get up in the attic. So if I can just use my phone as a stethoscope, and I'll either take a video with the flash on or I'll just take pictures with the flash on, okay? And then I can get a 360 of the attic just with my hands without climbing up in there and checking everything, right? Now, if their ladder is out in the garage, what I wanna do is I'm gonna bring the ladder down. As soon as I get to climbing up the ladder, I'm gonna stop, and I'm always gonna bring Mary out to the garage with me. Do not let Mary go tend to the kids. Don't let Mary go do the wash or anything like that. And if she is insistent on she has to do something else, and that when we get back to the table, okay, I am going to explain everything that I explained to her husband all over again through the pictures, just like we were out in the garage, but I'm gonna do it at the table. Now, but ideally, I'm gonna pull Mary out and bring her into the garage. And I'm gonna say, Mary, this is really important. I want you to take a look at this too. If you could please, just here's my pen and pad, all right? If you could please just write pass or fail on these, I'm gonna yell down from the attic, all right?
Okay.
Now I'm gonna climb up. Bob, can you please hold the ladder up here?
Sure.
I'm not saying that your ladder doesn't look strong, but just hold it for me while I'm climbing up there. I'm gonna climb up the ladder, I'm gonna get up there, I'm gonna go, oh my God. You ain't got but 2 inches of insulation up here, Bob, Mary. This is only if they only have 2 inches of insulation. If they have 12, don't lie. All right, but you ain't got about 2 inches of insulation up here, Bob, Mary. And if I test the top of your attic right here, it's 140 degrees and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, if I test the bottom of your insulation right here, it's 120 degrees. You only got 4 inches. Okay, what's going on is it's given up for the day. It soaked up all the heat that it could take. And nobody would put 2 inches of insulation up here, Mary. Okay, what happened is your insulation, you probably had 10 inches, about R30, but it dissipated. It gets so hot, 130, hot, cold, it broke itself down. So it's a really good idea. You can go out to Home Depot, you can go out to Lowe's, find a good contractor with insulation. Home Depot and Lowe's are really good for insulation. You build that up to R38. Now you want to make sure, I'm looking right here. Did you guys know you got rats up here? It's like some rat poop. It looks like they've been chewing some stuff. It's a good idea. You want to get the boric acid and formaldehyde insulation. They spray it with boric acid and it's got formaldehyde in it. Keeps all the mice, keeps all the rats, keeps all the roaches, and keeps all the critters out, okay? The rats won't nest up here anymore. I don't know if you're hearing pater patters and stuff, but you build that up to R38. Now that's gonna work pretty good, okay? But then you're gonna get about 8 years out of it, all right? And then it's gonna start to dissipate again. So what I don't see is radiant barrier. That goes up on your attic rafters, and that's gonna keep heat from ever entering your attic in the first place. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's called radiant barrier. Have you ever seen it before?
Never seen it before.
It's kind of like tin foil. It's like a sheet like this, but it's tin foil. And it was made by NASA a long time ago, but they've been using it on houses. It staples up to the attic rafters, and it keeps all the heat out of the attic in the first place. It's worth like 7 feet of insulation. Now, it's a little different because it goes on the rafters. You have to do the garage, okay? But because if you don't do the garage, you know, you think all that heat enters, it'll ruin everything you just did. So you have to do the garage. It'll cool your garage down too, but that stuff, it lasts forever. Once you put it up there, you just gotta make sure you get the real stuff. There's a lot of Me Too's out there. If you see your ductwork right here, your ductwork itself is a Me Too, all right? You can't use that as the same application on your rafters. So it's a good idea, just make sure, I'll show you a piece of it later, a real piece of it, but just make sure you have a good contractor that knows what they're doing with good reviews. Because if you're installing radiant barrier, the real stuff, correctly, you can't not have bad reviews, okay? It's that good. But if you look at the top here, you got a ridgeline vent, and then you have your soffit vent down at the bottom here. What that's meant for, and your soffit looks clear, your ridgeline looks clear, they're great, but they're giant oven vents. It's meant for wind to come through, circulate, and then blow out the top, all right? But are we known as a windy state here in Florida?
No.
Of course not, okay? So what they are is they're giant oven vents. It's always stagnant air, okay? So what you gotta have is you gotta have something to suck all that hot air out. So you put an electric attic fan up there, but then you're gonna use power to save power. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? They come up with solar attic fans now. It's got a panel about the size of this piece of paper that runs the fan, and that fan goes right into the attic, and there's a temperature gauge. So as soon as it gets too hot, sucks all that hot air out. And the fan doesn't hook up to your electricity at all, so it doesn't cost any electricity, it just saves. Now, you wanna make sure that you're going with a United States made fan, all right? Because if you're using a Chinese fan, all right, you'll be speaking Mandarin in Beijing trying to get the warranty on that stuff. All right, so it's a really good idea. Make sure it's American made and make sure you have a certified roofer install it. Because it's gotta be strapped to your roof at 130 miles an hour. Okay, so just make sure that it's got a hurricane roofer that knows what he's doing on installing that. Don't have a handyman cut a hole in your roof, please. Okay, so that's a really good idea. Now, Mary, if you could you write fail, and fail? All right. I'm sorry about your attic here, now if you do that stuff to your attic, it'll change your life. It'll cut your electric bill in half, really. Now, let's check your hot water heating system. I'm gonna go over to the hot water heater. It's usually in the garage. I'm gonna bang on the tank. Every time, bang on the side of the tank. I go, oh my God, you got a whole dinosaur out here, Bob Mary. All right, now, if you can see this energy hen right here, they've been making these things since the 60s, okay? The same exact way. Yours is made the same exact way as it was in 1960. And you have 2 boxes, top and bottom. Buying those boxes, those elements that I'm talking about. And they never shut off. Zapping the hot water 24/7. And if you look down here, it's 4,500 and 4,500 watts a piece right on the label, okay? Check this energy guide out. It says that it's gonna cost you $420 a year, but that says 9 cents per kilowatt, okay? We haven't been 9 cents per kilowatt since 2004, all right? So it's, right now, we're at 16 cents per kilowatt. That's almost double. It's costing you about $800 a year to have this hot water heating system. Okay, it's a really good idea to put it in a Rheem Proterra hybrid. It's the only brand that I recommend, okay? And what it does, it's a heat pump. It's gonna pull all the heat from your garage, and there's a glycol coil that wraps around the inside of the tank, and when that glycol expands, it creates an electric charge. That electric charge heats the water heats the glycol, and it constantly recycles your energy. That's as much as I know about it. The rest is over my head, all right? But it'll cost you only like $104 a year from $800, okay? And it also makes a 1-ton AC unit for your garage, so it cools your whole garage down too. So it's a really good idea to get one of those. You just want to make sure that you have a good plumber that's doing it. Make sure if you get it from Home Depot, a good one will cost you like somewhere around $5,500, $6,500, somewhere in that range to get it fully installed and out the door. All right. I'm gonna put a fail on this one. All right, and let's test the AC. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go around and test the temperature of the AC. I've already set it down to 65 degrees, so by the time I come back into the house, it should be pretty cold. It's been running for about 5 to 10 minutes. It'll take me about 5 to 10 minutes being up on the ladder, explaining radiant barrier insulation. Take me another 5 minutes doing the hot water heating system, so I'm back about 15, right? So when I come back into the house, I'm gonna test the temperature. What I do is I grab my interview sheet. If you can see, all of our temperatures are gonna be here, okay? But when I'm doing my interview, remember, do not do the vent test here, okay? The only reason it's on there is because we couldn't fit it on this page, all right? So I go back to this, I hand this to Mary, I go, hey Mary, could you please just write the temperatures? I'm gonna run around the house, okay? And you just write the temperatures down and I'm gonna test the temperature. Okay, and then I'm gonna test as many registers. If it's blowing out at 50, unless they have a room that they really want me to test, I'm not gonna go, I'm 50, 52, okay, you guys are good. Your AC's working great. Now, if I'm at 60, 62, I'm gonna test every single one because I wanna see where the problems are, right? So I'm gonna test their whole place. Now, 50, you're at 61, 62, 63. Now, Mary, it's a really good idea to switch this AC out. Right? And I hate to say this, but you're blowing out at about 62 degrees. When I test it here, you're going in at about 72. So that's only a 10-degree difference. And like I said, for every degree above 55, it's costing about $10 a month per degree, 6 to 10. So, I mean, it's anywhere from 7 times 6, 42, all the way up to $70 a month that this could be costing you, and you're not even knowing it. Because you guys said you set your AC at, what, 70? 75, 77, about 77?
Yeah, 77.
Okay, if it's blowing out at 62, eventually it's gonna get down to 77. It's just gonna take a lot longer to get there, okay? So right now you're looking at a 12 SEER unit. It's over 10 years old, okay? Right now the federal government's paying for heat pumps, all right? A heat pump system does just like your hot water heater, pulls heat to heat your house. So during the winter time, all right, anytime that you have to use your heat, it's down, but the beauty of it is the government's paying for it because of that, okay? Now the second thing is that you wanna make sure you're going 16, 18, 19 SEER or higher, really. About 18 is really where you wanna be at. If you're doing an 18 SEER with a good name brand like Carrier or Trane, or really what my favorite is gonna be is York, okay? It's gonna be anywhere from $14,000 to $16,000 to get a full HVAC upgrade. Now you have to do both. Okay, you have to do the unit outside and the air handler. If you try to go cheap, it will cost you in the long run. Now, you want to make sure that you have a UV light in your air handler. That's going to make sure that all that mold and bacteria that you were talking about when you don't change your filter out, all that mold and bacteria is going to get killed by that UV light. Because what's fresh air? Outside, right? Well, what's outside? The
light.
Sunlight. Yep, that's what kills everything. So it's like a giant sun and your little sun inside your air handler that kills everything before it blows around the house. At the same time, I would recommend a Nest Learning Thermostat. What that's gonna have is it's gonna allow you to put your AC on a run schedule, and it's gonna have a humidistat. So it'll make sure that the humidity in your home and the humidity in your air handler doesn't get too high so it doesn't cause mold growth as well. All right, so it's a good idea to get one of those. It'll save you about 35, 40%, really about 30 to 40%, 35%, which on your electric bill is pretty substantial, okay? They come with 10-year warranties on them if you get Trane, Carrier, or a York unit. But the York ones are pretty cool. I like those ones, okay? Just make sure you got a good company that knows what they're doing putting them in, okay? Now, if I go, so I'm gonna give you guys a fail on that one because you're over 60, and then let's check that pool pump. Oh man, yeah, this thing is screaming out here, okay? If you can see that pool pump right there, it says 3,450 RPMs. All right, it is on I4 in first gear. You switch this thing out to a Pentair Superflow. All right, just make sure, get it from Pinch a Penny, whatever company that you want. It'll cost you like 25, 28, 2,900 bucks, somewhere around there, to get it fully installed out the door. And it's a really good idea. This thing is costing you about 56. A new pool pump, it'll cost you about 16. And these have been outlawed since 2021, okay? And for good reason. They use a lot of electricity. And there's a lot of pools in here in Florida. So it's a good idea. I'm gonna give you a fail on that one. All right, and I checked your soffit. Your soffit looks great. Checked your AC outside. The tonnage is good, 3 ton. I'm gonna look for that barcode. You're looking at the model number, the serial number, okay? Now, I'm gonna come back to the table. All right, Bob and Mary, let's see what I found, all right? Now, thermostat, it'll save you about 10%, that's 24 bucks. Replacement costs you probably about $750 to get like an actual AC guy to come out here and do it. I mean, I highly recommend it. It'll pay for itself within a 10-year period. Insulated outlet covers, they'll cost you $5, all right? And they'll save you about $2.40, all right? So it pays for itself in about 2 months. That's pretty good, right? It's not gonna make you rich. Light bulbs, you guys already have those done. The weather stripping on the front door, again, it's gonna cost you maybe about $50. It'll save you maybe 1 to 2% per door. So if you got 3 doors, it's looking like maybe about $6, okay? And I do recommend that. Now your refrigerator, we passed on that one. We checked that one. Just don't forget to let me leave, all right, before I leave. Now your attic. Now 10%, if you put blown-in insulation up there, like I said, it'll work pretty good. It'll save you about 10%. It's gonna be about 24 bucks, okay, a month. The cost of it, you're looking at right around $250 a square foot, okay? It's a different price now. I'm using an old sheet, guys. It's gonna be about $250 a square foot. And if I'm at $2.50 a square foot times your guys' square footage of 1,600 square feet is 4,000. So it costs you right around $4,000. That's if you get the good stuff, the white fluffy stuff from Home Depot, okay? Now, radiant barrier is a little different. Do not get that stuff from Home Depot, but find a good contractor that knows what they're doing. And if the contractor knows what they're doing, they can't have bad reviews. It saves that much on the electric bill, but it'll save you about 25%. Of 240, that's gonna be 50, 60. That'll be $60 a month, okay? Now the cost is a little different. Like I said, it's gotta go over your garage. So if I take your 400 square feet, that's gonna be 2,000 square feet under a roof. And then remember how I told you it goes on the attic rafters? Now, if I take your rafters and then lay them flat, it's right around 1.5 times the square footage of the house, okay? So I have to take your 2,000 times 1.5, and that's gonna equal my 3,000 square feet of barrier that I need. But the insulation only has to go under air because that's meant for keeping the heat in, right? So 3,000 square feet, it's about $350 per square. If you get the good stuff, the real stuff, and costs you about $10,500, right? And that's if you get the real stuff. Now, a solar attic fan, you just want to make sure that you're going with an American-made fan, all right, with a certified roofer. It'll cost you right around $1,800, $1,900, somewhere around there for a good one installed. I only recommend one for you guys. You guys are only about 1,600 square foot under air, and one will do up to 1,800. It'll save you about 10%, sucking all that hot air out, which would be about another 24 bucks. Now your heat pump, for your hybrid, that's gonna be 25% of an average monthly electric bill a hot water heater will cost, right? So if I take your guys' average monthly electric bill, which is $240, the average hot water heater is gonna cost 25%. That's $60 a month, okay? Now, the energy guide on your unit outside says that it's costing you about $420 in 1994, okay? Or in 2004 at 9 cents per kilowatt. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna see how much it's costing today, because we haven't been 9 cents since what? 2004, somewhere around there, right? So if I take your 16 cents that you're charged now on TECO, and I divide, let me clear that out. If I take your 16 cents from TECO and I minus that new 9 cents or old 9 cents, it's a 7-cent increase from winter, or 7-cent increase from 2004. Now I'm gonna put that 7 cents over the original 9 cents, and it's been a 77% increase since 2004 when that hot water heater was put in. I multiply that by my $420 a year, and it's gonna cost me $326 more to run that hot water heater now, and that's brand new. So right now it's costing you $746 a year brand new, and that doesn't include that the elements are shelled up and that inch worth of insulation and burn up. Okay, so it's probably costing you upwards of $800 a year. But just brand new, it's costing $62 a month, okay? So the average hot water heater will cost you about $60. Your energy guide says it costs about $62, call it $61, okay? A new hybrid will cost $110 a year. Okay, so monthly it's gonna save you about $51 a month in savings. All right, and now the cost of one of these, you're looking at right around $6,900. We good?
Yeah, you just had a little bad.
$6,995. All right, $6,000, $7,000 for a really good ream. Don't go with the A.O. Smiths. Don't go with the cheap ones. Make sure you're going with that ream. It's got a 10-year warranty on it. Just get a good plumber to do it. Handyman, you don't want messing around with your copper and stuff like that. Just make sure you got a good handyman or a good plumber to do it. Now, solar hot water heater we're not going to do, and the AC unit. Now, you want to go up to an 18 SEER. If you're going up to an 18 SEER, variable speed air handler, making sure that you have a high SEER unit outside compressor with UV air filter and a nice thermostat, you're looking at like 35% savings, guys. And on a $240 bill, that's going to be $84 a month that thing's costing you, that a new one will save you. All right, now the cost of a new one, you're looking at anywhere from $14,000 to $16,000. If you're looking at a 2-ton, about a 2-ton is what you guys would need, or sorry, a 3-ton is about what you would need. You're looking at right around $15,000. Okay, and I do recommend that. All right, now before I move on, I just want to talk to you a little bit about your hot water heating system, okay, and why I'm recommending a new one. Because a lot of people think it's only 7 years old, it's working, you know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, I'm gonna kind of show you what's wrong with it, okay? Now, if you're looking at your hot water here, this is how it's made up. You got a tin tank, you got about an inch of insulation, and then you got another tin tank. You got your two elements, just like this, top and bottom, 4,500 watts, 4,500 watts, so 9,000 total. And you're gonna have, what do we use hot water for? We use it for showers, right? We use it for dishes. We use it for laundry. Can you guys think of anything else that you'd be using hot water for on a daily basis? No. You wash your hands a couple times a day, but not really anything of substance, right? No. So showers, dishes, laundry. Now you guys said that you guys are 1 shower a day people, so you got 2 showers, right? Yeah. So about 15 minutes, maybe a half hour a day in showers. So call it 4.5, call it 5 hours in showers. We'll be high on it. 5 hours a week. Now dishes, you said you do like 2 or 3 loads a week, somewhere around there? Yeah, right. Okay, and if you're doing 3 loads a week, it's about an hour, call it 3 hours, and using hot water for the dishes. So 3 hours a week in hot water for the dishes, and then laundry. How many days a week do you do it on hot?
1.
Maybe 1, okay, so maybe like 2 loads, 1 load?
1 load.
Probably like 1 load.
Okay, 1 load, so we got about 1 hour a week in laundry using hot water. Can you think of anything else?
No.
Okay, so you got 5 hours, 3 hours, that's 8 plus 1, that's 9 hours that you're using hot water. Okay. Now, when I came up here today and sitting here at this table, we all have something in common. All right, me, you, her, all right, we all have something in common. And it's that God gives us 7 days a week and He gives us 24 hours in each one of those days. All right, and I'm a nerd, I know that's 168 hours. And you're using that hot water heater 9 hours out of that 168, which means 159 hours, that hot water heater is wasting your money and costing you 30% of your electric bill.
Wow.
Okay, that's why it's the biggest waster in your home. You're only using it 9 hours and it's costing 30% of your electric bill. All right, now in comparison, have you ever turned all your lights on in your house?
No.
Would you ever?
No.
Absolutely not. Could you imagine turning them all month long? How much your electric bill would go up if you did?
Yeah.
All right, you'd never do that, but the average home has 30 times 60 watt light bulbs, which is 1,800 watts. All right, that goes into your hot water heater 5 times. Okay, 5 times. So you'd never turn all your lights on at once. You'd never turn them on all month long, but every single month for the last, how long have you guys had this thing for?
years.
9 years, okay? You've been doing 5 times that. That's why it's the biggest waster in the home and why I recommend that hybrid hot water heating system. Now you guys can do some of this, you can do none of it, you can do all of it, but the federal government is paying you guys to upgrade your home. And the reason why is because we're in a little bit of an energy crisis, okay?